boys and girls, Mrs. Hanson here. So today we are going to do a little bit in our My Math book. So you guys will need your My Math book and you will need a pencil. So in our My Math book, we are going to turn to page 521. We're going to need 521, 522, 523, and 524. So you guys need to pause it, find those pages, and then grab them. These are what they look like. So it says lesson 6 at the top, compare capacity. And then we have 521, 522, 523, and 524. So if you guys got to pause it, get those pages out so that we can work on them together. Well, we're going to work on the first part together, and then Mrs. Hanson's going to read the directions for you. So, you guys ready? Sounds good? All right. So when we talk about compare capacity, that's a really big word. Do you guys think you can say it after me? Capacity. Good. So the word is capacity. So capacity means how much something can hold. So if you have two different items, say, Mrs. Hanson might have some items right here that we can talk about. I have two coffee mugs. I have this coffee mug and this coffee mug. They are exactly the same. If I were to pour coffee in these, they would hold the same amount of coffee. So they both have the same capacity because they can hold the same amount. So if Mrs. Hanson was just kind of sleepy, I would get this cup and fill it up with coffee because this is kind of a small mug. Mrs. Hanson really likes big coffee mugs in the morning to fill it up with a whole bunch of coffee because sometimes Mrs. Hanson's super sleepy because baby Delilah likes to wake her up in the middle of the night and she doesn't like to sleep all the time. So Mrs. Hanson likes really big coffee mugs. This little coffee mug would not cut it. So Mrs. Hanson likes this big coffee mug, but for comparing it to this coffee mug is smaller, right? And this one is bigger. So this one would hold more coffee. This one would hold less coffee. So if I were to say which one were to hold more water, which one would you say? This big I Love Teaching coffee cup, right? If I said which one would hold less water, you would say this little coffee mug. What if we were to put marbles inside of these coffee cups? Which cup would be able to hold more? This one. This one would be able to hold more marbles because it's bigger. Which one would be able to hold less marbles? This one. Good. So we have two that are exactly the same. They're the same height, they're the same weight, and they can hold the same amount of items to have the same capacity that they could hold. Capacity is how much they can hold inside. Okay? So going off of that, let's look at our first page, 521. So we are going to do this together, and then Mrs. Hanson is going to talk you through directions. Do we think we got capacity? Sound good? Okay. So the directions are use cubes. I'm all ready today. So it says use cubes to fill in both sandboxes on the page. So remember, Mrs. Hanson has a hard time doing this. So let's see. I am going to line them up, even though we probably would just set them on there. But for me to hold it up for you guys so you can see, let's see how many cubes this top sandbox can hold. All right. So let's see if I can finagle this and hold it up so you guys can see it. I dropped my pencil. All right. So this is the best I can do with what I got. All right. We can probably, this is Hanson. Silly goose. All right. So would you say we could probably, can't even see it. Are you guys all laughing at me? I'm laughing at me. All right. So we could see that these cubes pretty much fill our sandbox. There's probably an easier way to do that. I just don't know what I'm doing sometimes. So let's count our cubes to see how many cubes filled our top sandbox. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 cubes fill our top sandbox. Our bottom sandbox looks a little smaller. Let's see how many cubes it takes to fill up our bottom one. Oh yeah, not even close. I think I can work this one out. So our bottom sandbox can hold about 4 cubes. Let's count them just to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 cubes for the bottom sandbox and 10 cubes for the top sandbox. So it is asking us which sandbox holds more? Which one holds more? The top one. Good. The top one held 10 and the bottom one held 4. So then the directions are circle the sandbox that holds less. Mrs. Hanson has to get her pencil because I knocked it over. So you can see that there's already a dotted line on the bottom one. So just trace that dotted one because that bottom sandbox holds less. So just like Mrs. Hanson, trace it. Okay, so now we're going to work on the back. So flip it over, and Mrs. Hanson's going to give you directions, and you guys are going to work with me and learn a little bit more about capacity. All right, so we have our vocabulary words. Capacity. Say it together. Capacity. So capacity is how much something can hold. Then underneath it says holds more, holds less. So those are our 3 vocabulary words. So the directions are compare the containers. So we have this cup and this cup. Trace the circle around the object that holds more. So they want us to trace this circle right here because that one holds more. So trace that circle because that cup holds more. Then trace the X on the object that holds less. So over here, we only have a couple cubes in that cup. So that cup holds less cubes than our other cup. So we are putting an X on top of that one. So yours should look just like that. So now this is where you guys got to listen. Mrs. Hanson is going to give you directions and you're on your own. But I know you guys are smart cookies and can do it. So for number 2, where we have the little baggies and the cubes right next to it, your directions are for 2 and 3 actually. So for the next 2 underneath, compare the containers. Circle the object that holds more. So you're circling the one that holds more. Draw an X on the object that holds less. The objects hold the same, underline them. So remember, Mrs. Hanson's cups that were the same, we would underline these. If we have Mrs. Hanson's big cup and Mrs. Hanson's little cup, we are going to circle the one that holds more, X the item that holds less. So looking at this one, which one holds more and which one holds less, or do you think they hold the same? That holds more, circle, holds less, X, holds the same, underlined. Same thing for these containers down here. Circle more, X the one that holds less, or underline them if they hold the same. Got it, guys? All right. So you guys can put this paper to the side, and then we're going to work on the next paper, which is 523. So for this, I'm going to read all the directions because Mrs. Hanson did not do that yesterday. Compare the containers. Circle the object that holds more. Draw an X on the object that holds less. If the objects hold the same, underline them. Phew. Same directions. So go through these. We have 3 problems. So we have our sand, our, what are these called? Buckets. And then it looks like we have little pails. Or pails or buckets, whatever you want to call them. So circle the item that holds more. X the item that holds less. If they hold the same, underline them. So guys, work through those. This one, and this one. Once you guys get those done, you guys can flip it over to the back. If you guys need a little bit more time to do these because you're circling the one that holds more, Xing the one that holds less, and underlining them if they hold the same. Okay, flip it to the back. And let's see what we're doing back here. So it looks like we have a whole bunch of different items that can hold different capacities, right? So it says, look at the object in the box. So the object in our box is a nice bucket of popcorn, which I wish I could go to the movies so I can get a great big bucket of popcorn with lots and lots of butter. That would be amazing just to get out of the house. Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe one day, hopefully soon, huh? So we got popcorn. And it says draw an X on the items that hold more than that object. So you're going to look at each of these objects and see, do you think that this holds more? If you do, circle it. So each of these objects, if you think they hold more than this bucket of popcorn, you're going to circle it. Oh, I'm sorry. Mrs. Hanson got confused again. I said it right the first time. Draw an X. Draw an X on the item that holds more. So if you think it holds more than the popcorn, draw an X. If you think it holds less than the popcorn, you are going to circle it. Yes, don't listen to Mrs. Hanson all the time. Sometimes she's just crazy. But listen to her now. Draw an X on the items if they hold more. Circle the items if they hold less. And then you're going to explain how you know if one object holds more than another. So what did Mrs. Hanson say? How do you explain that Mrs. Hanson's big coffee cup holds more than this coffee cup? How do you know that? So then you're going to explain why you think one of these items holds more than the popcorn cup. So we got it. We're Xing them if they hold more, circling them if they hold less than that popcorn container. Sound good? So I hope you guys learned a little bit about capacity and about what it means and about more and less and about Mrs. Hanson's great big coffee cup she needs sometimes in the morning. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. And I can't wait to see your guys' work. Have a good day, guys. Bye.